The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, yesterday scoffed at threats of consequences over purported plans to impeach River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, saying the sky is not going to fall if he is impeached. Wike's comments came after the River State House of Assembly, led by Martins Amewule, yesterday denied Fubara access to the Assembly premises for a representation of the 2025 appropriation bill, which was ordered by the Supreme Court.
This ministerial briefing in Abuja by the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike on issues affecting governance in the Federal Capital Territory and local politics in River State. He's quick to address the current political challenges in his home state. Wike threw his full weight behind the Martin Amewule-led River State House of Assembly members over their refusal to allow Governor Sim Fubara to present afresh the 2025 budget in line with the Supreme Court judgment.
If the legislators say, we are going on recess for the interest of the state, if you can present the budget, we do for them, because we're living on recess. Have they not done well? All you would have done as a sincere person is to say, look, no, it's too urgent for me. Can you people shift your recess? Give me 1 week. That's how people do things. You don't just come out, hey, why should I give up tomato? Who the hell are you?
Well, the governor
No, listen. Who the hell are you? The governor is not sincere.
The Rivers political godfather also says he's willing to give full backing to any impeachment attempts at ousting Governor Sim Fubara for alleged constitutional breaches, noting that impeaching Fubara is not a criminal offense.
But will you support an impeachment?
If you have committed an offense to be impeached, what is wrong? Is it a criminal offense? It's provided in the Constitution.
You can't just wait till 2027 to vote him out.
Am I a member of the Assembly? The point I'm making, if you have committed an infraction of the Constitution and the Assembly deems it fit to say you should be impeached, let me tell you, politics is not played just like this. Is it the first person that people have threatened about impeachment? Don't you know what to do? What is all this hula value?
He also tackled Ijaw leaders and ex-militants threatening to blow oil pipelines if the governor is impeached. And for those political leaders in River State backing the embattled Governor Fubara, Wike has this to say.
All of us know ourselves. You make an appointment of MD of NDC, they threaten, they blow pipeline. You make an appointment here, they threaten, they blow pipeline. What kind of country are we in? As a sitting president, you threaten me that if you follow what the court said, I will blow up everywhere. Let the whole place be blown off.
The political crisis in River State has taken a new dimension following a Supreme Court judgment that affirmed the membership of the 27 pro-Wike House of Assembly members and nullified the local government election conducted last year.
Well, the saga continues, is what some may say. Rufai, your take on this? I know we delved into this a little bit yesterday as well.
A couple of things, like I said yesterday. Impeachment is on the cards. After this press conference with Wike, I'm now very sure, because Wike's words, not my words, nothing will happen if impeachment is done. He even went further to say those that are threatening and saying all sorts. He said, what's the big deal about it? Then he went and attacked or sounded off on the comments made of the people of the Ijaw extraction. You see, that Ijaw conundrum was easier for Wike than when he wanted to play the politics of governance in Rivers. He played the Ijaw card with Fubara. Today, the same Ijaw people are talking. He's saying, is it only them? Is it only them? So that's to show you, when this Baba Sokwe crazy politics starts, and Baba Sokwe crazy is my coinage for government of the Godfather, it's always about their own interest. Today, the Ijaw people that Wike is pushing back on, and the likes of Pandev, this was the same card he played when he was about to bring Fubara in. The fact that, oh, it's going to be the first Ijaw person. So, like Dele Farotimi says, don't die in their war. Then the drama of what happened yesterday. Alagbo George, the spokesperson of the Rivers State House of Assembly, said, oh, Fubara is the issue. They had sent him a request to come all this while. He rebuffed them. Now he's coming for drama's sake. Is that why they should close the gate against the governor? All of a sudden, Mr. Wike is holding the ace in this fight. He's now saying, respect the rule of law. But you see, the truth is, Mr. Wike cannot do this without President Tinubu. The buck will stop at the door of the president. Just like it has now showed with the meeting of the Lagos lawmakers yesterday with the president, that everything that happened in Lagos, he knew about it. But the question I keep asking is, you keep emboldening this Mr. Wike. Hope you will not complain when he wants to challenge you with that power you embolden him with. Because we have seen the rise and fall of godfathers. And we also forget that godfathers have godfathers. So we should be careful. It's already on the card. I don't know how Fubara is going to be able to get out of this. It's his fight to fight. Will he be able to fight till the end? I don't know. But with that indication of, if he's impeached, what will happen? Heaven will not fall. It's an indication that that might be on the cards. So the drama in Rivers have continued, being aided by Godfather and Babasokwe Kresi. But the godfather that is aiding a godfather should remember that at some point, godfathers will also fight. Maybe God the Father will settle them.
Okay, first, the timeline of the conflict in Rivers State, which has now become a house of war and an affliction on Nigeria. Now, as we know, former Governor Wike, now Minister Wike, insisted that he brought Simi Fubara to be governor. That in itself is a comment on the status of Nigeria's democracy, on the integrity of democracy in Nigeria, that people will have the confidence publicly to say, I installed this person, I did. Wike has said many times that he financed it. Fubara did not spend any money to become president. To the extent that we're still in 2027, many years after the return to civilian rule in 1999, that godfathers will still say that I put you there and I will tell you what to do there, is an assault on the choice of the people, on the freedom of the people to choose their own leaders. That's number one. And Wike has been very insistent on this fact. And that is the foundation for the claims that he makes to Rivers State. Number two is that we have seen a situation like this before in the past, when they had the wild, wild West. It was also about conflict among godfathers and even the intervention of the federal government supporting one party against the other. And the West, you had that blowout. There's a script called The Blowout, focusing on that particular issue. Now, I think that it would be very unfortunate if Nigeria repeats that ugly history and you have a second blowout coming from the South-South from Rivers State, because it would seem to me that the objective practical conditions that we have seen in Rivers State would seem to be very similar to the kind of blowout that we experienced in the Wild Wild West in the First Republic. And that means that President Tinubu's work in terms of how he has intervened in Rivers State is not finished. He has to make sure that there is not a blowout from that region on his head, creating problems for the greater Nigerian polity. What is the third point? Now let's go to the details. Now, as part of this crisis, the president intervened the first time. Then again, the crisis persisted, And then the parties went to court. Then the Supreme Court gave its ruling and said that, Governor Fubara should, follow certain conditions. And yesterday, Governor Fubara, coming from the meeting with the president and other stakeholders, governors and, other stakeholders who went for iftar with the president of Nigeria, decided to go to the State House of Assembly to present the budget afresh, as had been directed by the Supreme Court. But he met a blocked gate. He was refused entry. And he had said that he had sent a letter asking for a meeting, which was rebuffed. He was also denied entry yesterday. Now, what this means is that despite the president's intervention, second notable intervention, there is an escalation of the crisis in Rivers State, which makes it even more clear that we are going to still have more in terms of conflict and disruption to deal with in that state. Now to the other issues. Now, Nyesom Wike, who has constituted himself into the ultimate godfather of Rivers State, had a television interview yesterday where he showed very clearly that the war has not ended. In fact, that the jungle has now finally matured in Rivers State, despite the interventions by persons of wisdom and reason that there should be peace and stability in Rivers State. What Wike did yesterday was simply, with regard to Rivers State, to instigate instability in Rivers State. Because he said very clearly, let's deal with just that aspect, that Fubara, if he's impeached, heavens will not fall. The Constitution of Nigeria says, a governor can be impeached on the grounds of gross misconduct. And that gross misconduct is as defined by the House of Assembly. Now, these lawmakers, the 27 Amewule faction, Wike faction in Rivers State, they've now been empowered by the Supreme Court of Nigeria, indeed, to proceed ahead and impeach Fubara. If they do it, they also now have the support of their godfather. And that's why for President Tinubu, that state constitutes a problem so that it doesn't become the wild, wild west. Now, two things that Wike said yesterday. He said the Ijaw people are not that important, that they do not even constitute the majority in the south region. Well, that is not true. The Ijaw people, according to the literature that we have read, I stand to be contradicted, constitute the fourth largest ethnic group in Nigeria. So, Minister Wike not being, an academic or somebody who is familiar with the literature, let me be nice, who doesn't understand, what the literature is, can make such statements. He's not an intellectual, he's not an academic. So, you can say that. But the truth of the matter is that the Ijaws constitute a major, a major group in this population, in this Nigerian population. The second thing that he said somebody died, the late statesman Henry Clark. I don't know an Henry Clark that is from the Niger Delta. The Henry Clark the Clark that I know, who is a statesman, that he probably was referring to in the context of Pandev, is a man called Edwin Kiagodo Clark. So for Minister Wike to have an interview, and when did Paike Clark die? In less than 2 weeks, he has forgotten his name. So this is the kind of contradiction, the kind of irony that we find, but associated with the godfatherism problem. What is the way forward? He says that INC and RYC, they are just boasting, they cannot sabotage Nigeria. Anybody, whether a PJ or another group or from Okpobo or wherever, can sabotage Nigeria's economy. We don't want that kind of rhetoric from Rivers State. Nobody should sabotage the Nigerian economy. And the minister, a serving minister of the Federal Republic, saying that, look, anybody has the capacity to sabotage Nigeria from the Niger Delta, I think that should be a wake-up call for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has tried to intervene in this matter. And finally, Dr. George, who is the spokesperson of the Rivers State House of Assembly, made it clear yesterday that they retaliated, more or less, because the governor of the state also has been treating them like they are not important. I think that the major message for the people of Rivers State is that they should not turn their state into a boiling point for the rest of Nigeria, because all of us have a stake in this country and we want Nigeria to be peaceful and stable. We do not want hereafter to begin to talk about the rivers disease. What will be the rivers disease? That these are people who don't want peace, that this is a place where godfathers don't want peace. That is unacceptable in a democracy.
Oh, very well said, Dr. Abati. I remember yesterday, Dr. Abati, when the comment around stooping to conquer was made, you made some reference to William Shakespeare. And when I got home, to Oliver Goldsmith, sorry. And when I got home, I started reflecting, and I thought of William Shakespeare and the fact that we're in the month of March. And what they do say is, beware the Ides of March. The story of the Ides of March is quite straightforward. It's around the death of Julius Caesar. And we know Julius Caesar was killed by Brutus. This speaks volumes to the situation that we're in, that I wish somebody had spoken to the governor, Siminalayi Fubara, and told him to beware of the Ides of March, because this is the situation he has found himself in. Once a brotherly father-son relationship has now turned into a Julius Caesar Brutus kind of relationship. Anyway, where do we go from here? What is very clear in all of this is that if you are unable to play Machiavellian politics, you will not survive in Nigeria. That is simply the long and short of it. What is Machiavellian politics? The end justifies the mean. One must amass power by any means necessary and hold on to it and ensure that under all circumstances, whether it's through the use of strength or through the use of cunning strategies, power is the ultimate goal. And this is what we're seeing, that being a gentleman, unfortunately, doesn't pay. In the words of Bobrisky, good girl no they pay, unfortunately. Sim Fubara is being a diplomat, but I hope that he can be strategic in the diplomacy that he is trying to apply with regards to maintaining his role, maintaining his seat as the executive governor of Rivers State. Now, when I looked at some of the history, I realized that only 7 governors have been impeached since 1981 in Nigeria. However, of those 7, 3 were reinstated, meaning impeachment may not be the end of the journey. Some of the conversations we need to start having around this is, what are the grounds for impeachment, and is it possible that this matter will end in court? When it ends in court, how likely is it that he will be reinstated like Rashidi Ladoja of Oyo State, Peter Obi of Anambra State, Joshua Daria of Plateau State? So this is, for me, just another chapter in this long novel that we're reading. And the question at hand is Sim Fubara going to be able to engage in the type of Machiavellian politics that is going to be required in order for him to survive until 2027? Because until by the time we start the run-up, the countdown to the 2027 election, which in all fairness has already begun, but by the time he starts fighting for the reinstatement of that seat, we know that there's another war that will begin. War, of course, I don't mean in a violent sense, but I mean in the sense that all parties are engaged in the Machiavellian strategies of doing what it means to retain power by all means necessary. It's not lost on us that Sim Fubara is being told to go and lick his wounds, in essence, be humble, and he has no choice. He has to abide by the law. However, it's very unfortunate that in the same context of this, we see a man who has become emboldened to reveal himself as the orchestrator behind this entire charade, coming to the media, speaking to journalists as if they're school children and saying all manner of incredibly insightful things, very undiplomatic. It's just, at the end of the day, we ask ourselves, do the people of Rivers State actually matter to any of these leaders? Because the rhetoric we heard yesterday was not a rhetoric that was worried about the interests of the people. Because remember, if we start going through the process of impeachment, the process of replacing the governor and all of that, this is all time that's supposed to be used for governance that is being wasted on useless power plays. So again, all we can do here is advocate for the parties involved to sheath their swords so there can be peace, so the people of River State can enjoy governance until election period, which is when hopefully, this process can reemerge. Of course, legally, he can be impeached. They have the numbers, so it's not an illegality. However, in the interest of stability, changing governors right now, impeaching a governor, is not the right indicator.